not surprised at all. It's who he is. It's who he is. I've always thought that he's a horrible person, and this is every bit of proof.
Baltimore boxing champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend.
Tank is done. Tank is hung him up, shoes off, get the bag, put a plaque up, he done.
Promotion. November 14th, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis has officially been canceled. I know that we all speculated that it would be, and I was pretty much for sure that it would be canceled, but now we have official confirmation.
The boxing world has been thrown into complete turmoil after Leonard Ellerbe finally broke his silence on Gervonta "Tank" Davis's latest arrest, a situation that has not only shocked fans but also sent powerful ripples across the entire industry. The fallout was immediate and severe. The much-hyped Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight, expected to be one of the most profitable and sensational crossover bouts of the decade, has now been officially cancelled. What was supposed to be a historic event blending traditional boxing with modern influencer-driven hype has now collapsed under the weight of legal trouble. Tank's career, already marred by controversies, has once again taken a damaging hit at the worst possible moment.
Or so, Most Valuable Promotions, the promotion co-founded by Jake Paul and Nikisa Badarian, posted this on social media. They posted that they were officially canceling the fight, saying Most Valuable Promotions immediately initiated an investigation. No, I had the wrong one. Okay, I'm reading this one. Most Valuable Promotions and Netflix have announced that Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, the one I was reading was the one from late last week, originally scheduled for Friday, November 14th at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida, will no longer be moving forward. Quote, "Our team has worked closely with all parties to navigate this situation responsibly," said Nikisa Badarian, CEO of MVP. "While we will not be moving forward with this event, our plan remains for Jake Paul to headline an event on Netflix in 2025. And that is what I'm hearing as well. They want him to fight in December. That is the hope. And they're actively looking for a opponent. More on that in a moment. Details regarding a new date, location, Jake's opponent, and additional bouts will be shared as soon as they are finalized. We thank Netflix, Kaseya Center, Seminole Hard Rock.
Leonard Ellerbe, longtime promoter, former CEO of Mayweather Promotions, and one of the closest figures to Davis's professional circle, spoke with unusual bluntness. He stated that Davis had crossed a line that could no longer be defended. According to reports, Ellerbe made it clear that the fight with Jake Paul is not only unlikely, it is impossible under the current circumstances. Ellerbe added that Tank's reputation, standing in the sport, and even his long-term promotional relationships may now be in jeopardy. Meanwhile, in an attempt to salvage the ruined event, Jake Paul's camp has reportedly made a formal offer to Ryan Garcia to step in as the replacement headliner. Sources indicate that Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, reached out to Garcia immediately after news of the cancellation broke. The offer is being discussed for a possible December fight date, giving Garcia time to negotiate. However, Ryan's promoter has raised concerns about existing contracts and obligations that could complicate or even block such a matchup. Despite all of this, the buzz surrounding a Paul vs. Garcia fight has already started generating headlines.
Wrong. So, as of today, November 2nd, this fight is still technically scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement: Ryan Garcia, Terence Crawford, Francis Ngannou, I mean, come on, we'll get into them, and Nate Diaz. So he's already fought Nate Diaz, but let's go through them one by one. I mean, Ryan Garcia, he's a similar size to Gervonta Davis. He's bigger though. Davis made him come down, didn't he? Then he beat him up. So that was Ryan Garcia. Quite a bad loss for Garcia, that was, because he was up for the fight, but Gervonta Davis beat Garcia. Garcia also isn't really big enough to be jumping in with Jake Paul, but that's a fight that potentially could happen. Garcia is a massive name. He's a big he's a social media star. He's a big public figure. Loads of followers on Instagram and social. I mean, his Instagram's over 1 million, I'm sure it is.
Rolando "Rolly" Romero wasted no time going after Jake Paul the moment the cancellation became public. Romero openly mocked Jake, saying the YouTuber-turned-boxer had been exposed for chasing spectacles instead of taking on legitimate opponents. He even went as far as saying he would slap Jake Paul around easily if they ever fought, calling Jake soft and overhyped. But his criticisms didn't stop there. Romero also fired shots at Ryan Garcia, accusing him of avoiding their contractually obligated rematch. He said Garcia talks too much, signs deals he doesn't honor, and has no credibility among real fighters. According to Raleigh, fans are tired of influencers and drama. They want fighters who show up, step in the ring, and deliver, not athletes who run from obligations when things get tough.
I want to let everybody know I'm going to slap Jake Paul across his face because, first and foremost, man, I'm tired of this YouTube boxing stuff, man. I really am. I am more tired of this YouTube boxing stuff than everyone else, man. Oh, let's make this happen, bro. Bro, I'll be ready in a week. I'll be ready to slap Jake Paul across the face in a week. I will slap Jake Paul across his face. But who cares? I don't care. Roll over Jake Paul 2025, bro. I knocked out another YouTuber. I knocked out. But Jake Paul gets knocked out.
Oscar de la Hoya, responding to escalating speculation, took to the media to address rumors that Ryan Garcia might be stepping in to replace Gervonta Davis. De la Hoya firmly denied that any such talks had taken place, emphasizing that if major negotiations were happening, he would be the one to announce them personally. He clarified that Ryan Garcia has his own plans, schedules, and goals, and fans should not expect a sudden switch to a Jake Paul crossover fight. His comments effectively shut down a wave of misinformation that had been circulating for days, reminding the public that not every rumor deserves attention, especially in the chaos following Tank's arrest.
Asking me about Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia. Let me just tell you why this fight is not going to happen. Ryan Garcia fights for DAZN, and Jake Paul fights on Netflix. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. Golden Boy has a contract with DAZN. Ryan Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy. And that's just the way it is. I mean, this is business. You know, Ryan Garcia's probably going to go on a rant saying, oh, you're keeping me from making money and this and that and fighting. No, you have to go by the law, by the rules. You have a contract with DAZN. You have a contract with Golden Boy. It just doesn't happen that way. So anyway, until next time, we'll see you Saturday for Virgil Ortiz. But again, Ryan Garcia's next fight will be announced.
Most Valuable Promotions officially issued a statement addressing the cancellation and the growing confusion among fans. MVP confirmed that anyone who purchased tickets through authorized sellers like Ticketmaster would receive automatic refunds within 14 to 21 days. For fans who purchased through resale or third-party platforms, MVP recommended contacting the vendor directly. This refund confirmation was part of MVP's broader effort to calm disappointed fans and maintain transparency. But the biggest revelation came from internal sources claiming that Francis Ngannou has emerged as the top candidate to replace Gervonta Davis. Negotiations were said to be in motion, promising what could be one of the most explosive crossover fights ever considered in modern boxing.
Globally on DAZN. First off, I'll say kudos to MVP for refunding people that did buy tickets to this event, and also navigating this thing with professionalism, which they did the entire way through. You got to give them credit for that. They really stayed quiet on the rumor front and just handled things as a professional company. That's all you can really ask for. Jake Paul has, in the last couple of hours, tweeted idiot, and then God has a plan always. Two things that I think are both referring to this fight. First off, calling Gervonta Davis an idiot, I assume, and then obviously, God has a plan always, referring to this thing is probably going to work itself out. Obviously, this video is dedicated to talking about future opponents for Jake and potential fight dates. I do have something that I don't know if it's misinformation or not, but I'm just going to talk about it here. This is a tweet from somebody named ATalkers5. I don't know how realistic this potentially even could be, but this is from 4 hours ago. They said 2 of the female bouts scheduled for Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis undercard are now scheduled for December.
Francis Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champion who stunned the world with his performances against Tyson Fury and later Anthony Joshua, remains one of the most compelling global combat sports figures. Jake Paul's camp reportedly believes Ngannou's massive KO power, towering frame, and worldwide star power could salvage the entire event, but Ngannou himself strongly disagreed. Speaking directly about the rumors, Ngannou dismissed the idea of fighting Jake Paul, calling it a publicity stunt he would refuse to participate in. He stated that after sharing the ring with the best heavyweight boxers in the world, dropping levels to face a YouTuber would be disrespectful to his career. Ngannou further criticized fighters who turned boxing into a social media circus, saying combat sports should remain a respected craft, not a platform for clicks. Fans overwhelmingly supported Ngannou's stance, acknowledging that a Jake Paul versus Ngannou fight made little sense either competitively or financially.
At all. And he said, yeah, Jake Paul, you know, he's fighting. I'm like, no, bro, come on. Don't disrespect me like that. And then they even say like, they even come out after and say, and what if the number are good? He send out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started off. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. He make no sense for me. It's not my what I'm looking at right now.
So there is no dollar amount. It's more the opponent. The fight makes no sense. They could offer you $100 million and you wouldn't be interested.
The fight made no sense. That's what I think. That's my my position. And though I went back, I saw, you know,
Placement for Gervonta Davis. We had to go right to the source. What can you tell us? Is there any possibility that Francis Ngannou will step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul?
No, there's no such a thing happening. Basically, like how can they go from like Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? Like, I mean, Gervonta Davis is a fantastic boxer, but and is a one shot knockout artist. But come on, like the weight different and everything, it make no sense. You know, the Gervonta Davis, you count, you say, okay, the size different can level up. But at this point, for me to...
Amid the chaos, new rumors surfaced that Jake Paul might turn his attention toward Floyd Mayweather Jr. for a replacement bout. According to several outlets, Paul's team reached out to Mayweather's camp about a possible showdown. However, Mayweather reportedly brushed off the idea, claiming the matchup would be too easy and not worth pursuing under standard fight terms. Although nothing has been confirmed, the mere possibility of Paul versus Mayweather has already added more flames to an already unpredictable and chaotic boxing landscape.
And then if you keep going, you see stuff like this going around, and he's not the only one. A possible replacement for Paul being Garcia. I've seen another article that said that they pitched to Mayweather. I seen that one, and some other big names as well. And I'm pretty sure the people behind Paul got the bag because Paul draws the bag. So they can probably, if Floyd Mayweather commit to it, yeah, you get that money together because you know it's coming back in cents. You know it is. How old is Mayweather right now? It don't fucking matter. That bread is coming back. He's just a draw. The biggest, maybe, right? He might literally be the biggest boxing draw of all time. Floyd Mayweather. So I think that if this is true, that the fight is canceled, Jake Paul is going to end up with a signal.
On the Ariel Helwani show, analysts broke down the deeper consequences of Gervonta Davis's growing legal troubles. They pointed out that this latest lawsuit, arriving just 2 months after his previous one, reinforces a troubling pattern of behavior that continues to damage his career. Helwani and his panel highlighted how these incidents have strained Tank's personal relationships, alienated fans, and made major networks hesitant to associate their brand with him. Netflix, which planned to broadcast Jake Paul vs. Davis as its first major boxing event ever, is reportedly reconsidering its involvement due to the growing controversy. With his image sinking and his future now uncertain, Tank may be facing the biggest professional crisis of his career. Meanwhile, Jake Paul is under intense pressure to secure a replacement before the entire event collapses.
So, Most Valuable Promotions, the promotion co-founded by Jake Paul and Nikisa Badarian, posted this on social media. They posted that they were officially canceling the fight, saying Most Valuable Promotions immediately initiated an investigation. No, I had the wrong one. Okay, I'm reading this one. Most Valuable Promotions and Netflix have announced that Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, the one I was reading was the one from late last week, originally scheduled for Friday, November 14th at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida, will no longer be moving forward. Quote, our team has worked closely with all parties to navigate this situation responsibly, said Nikisa Badarian, CEO of MVP. While we will not be moving forward with this event, our plan remains for Jake Paul to headline an event on Netflix in 2025. And that is what I'm hearing as well. They want him to fight in December. That is the hope. And they're actively looking for a opponent. More on that in a moment. Details regarding a new date, location, Jake's opponent, and additional bouts will be shared as soon as they are finalized. We thank Netflix, Kaseya Center, Seminole Hard Rock and Hotel and Casino for their partnership. Then there's some information about, fans who purchase tickets. You can see all of this online. I did speak to Nikisa briefly, and I've seen some people say like, hey, and this was his take. Like, I asked him two questions basically, like, did this have anything to do with the ticket sales? He said this was going to be a very, very successful event for them financially. And the other thing was like, Tank Davis has a checkered past. He had a checkered past when this fight was made. What changed? Well, obviously, two incidents, allegations, lawsuit. Since the fight was announced, they at the time felt like this was an opportunity for people to learn about who Tank Davis is, for him to show the world that he was a changed man, all this stuff and more. And that didn't happen, and they felt like they had to cancel the event. For the record, I feel like this was 100% the right call. You can't be a promotion that is so heavily invested in women's boxing and work with a guy who has allegations and lawsuits pending.
Some reports indicate that the now open November 14th date might be filled with women's world title fights instead. Prior promotional materials had already listed matchups like Alicia Baumgardner versus Layla Boudouin for the Super Featherweight Championship. While not confirmed, shifting the card to spotlight women's boxing could mark a major pivot in the promotion strategy. At the same time, analysts criticized Jake Paul's harsh comments toward Tank, pointing out that Tank's case is civil, not criminal, and no guilt has been proven. Commentators also reminded viewers that Jake himself has faced similar accusations in the past, making his moral stance questionable and possibly more of a PR strategy than a genuine ethical position.
If I thought he did it twice, and we forgave him for that, and you got better, you seek help, and etc., I can, I forgive him for it.
Bruh.
How you know Jake Paul didn't know that?
Jake Paul knew.
Jake Paul 100%
September 19th, 2017, arrest warrant, first-degree assault. September 14th, 2018, arrested in Washington, D.C. February 1st, 2020, Davis arrested on domestic assault. March 22nd, 2021, indicted on 14 counts allegedly causing a serious crash. December 27th, 2022, days before a fight, arrested and jailed in Florida, domestic battery. July 11th, 25, taken into custody following a battery charge. October 31st, 25, Davis was involved in a civil fight with his girlfriend. Shut up, Jake Paul. You knew what you was doing.
He does not get this excuse whatsoever. Also, whenever you look at what Jake Paul has done since coming into the sport of boxing, he has been a champion for women in the sport. He has also been a champion of equal fighter pay and whatnot, right? All of these different things that he's done. He's gone to Dana White directly for trying to abolish the Muhammad Ali Act that helps out fighters get. He's gone to so many different people. He's an extremely knowledgeable person whenever it comes to the sport that he's hyper obsessed with, and turned his career from a Disney star and a YouTuber into a boxer. He knew about these issues already. Correct. He knew that this was a farcical fight in the first place. Yeah. This is a 7-weight class difference in real boxing. No, absolutely not. It should not have been a fight that was happening in the first place. But even then, after all of these things going on right now, Jake Paul to sit there and act as if you are all high and mighty. Correct. And that I don't want to give this dude a platform to earn money. You were more than happy doing it. And
Tank's arrest has not only destroyed one of the most anticipated crossover fights in recent memory, but exposed the fragile nature of hype-driven boxing events. The cancellation forced promoters, broadcasters, and even Netflix to scramble for a plan that would protect their financial and brand interests. This entire saga shows how quickly misconduct, proved or not, can unravel even the biggest sporting events. For Jake Paul, the show must continue. For Gervonta Davis, however, this may be the darkest chapter in what was once a brilliant, promising career.
They feel the same way. It's an impossible spot to be in.
The only part I'd say is, like, you kind of know who this guy is ahead of time. Like, this is not exactly a shocking revelation like Tank Davis is. This is not the first rodeo. But I do think it's too close to the fight to really be, messing around here. Like, you got to figure out a new solution.
And so there's been multiple reports regarding people that they've reached out to. Names like Ryan Garcia have been brought up, Terrence Crawford has been brought up, Francis Ngannou has been brought up. And Francis Ngannou spoke to TMZ today, and he did confirm that he was contacted, and the quote was, "How can they go from Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? It makes no sense." He was like, quote, "We think about you to fight Jake." I'm like, what? Which Jake? Bro, come on, don't.
What are your thoughts on this collapsing saga? Was Jake Paul justified in pulling out because of Gervonta Davis's arrest, or was it simply another strategic PR move to protect his image? Share your views in the comments below.